I have found when you get started, when you move into action, everything starts to happen around you.
If you want a guaranteed way to move into action, apply the 595 rule.
Start before you're ready. If you wait until you feel ready to do anything meaningful, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life.
Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time. What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. I believe in you, and this channel is designed to be a part of your daily success routine. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message. Move into action. Over to you, Bob Proctor. Also, if you want to know what Bob Proctor and other successful entrepreneurs have to say about building unstoppable confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series, where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you a morning video for free to help you build your confidence. The link to join is in the description below.
I was reminded this morning of a question I'm often asked. How do you eliminate fear from your life?
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
You know, Don Shula, the coach of the old Miami Dolphins, he said it's the start that stops most people. And he's right. It is the start that stops most people. They're always going to get ready, to get set, to get going. What we've got to do is, boom, just like that, move into action. See, if you don't get started, you're never going to get finished. How do we do that? Start early. I believe when you wake up, you should get up. The second you wake up, get your feet hit the floor, move into action. And you know, you'd be wise if you sit down at night before you go to bed and write down 6 goal-achieving activities. Now, that isn't go to the store, or go to the bank, or get to cleaning. It's not that. These are goal-achieving activities. Write down 6 of them. And when you wake up in the morning, you move into action. You know where you're going to go. You don't even have to think about it. Step into action and get on the first one. When you get it done, forget it and go to the second one. Don't think about the first one. Focus on 2. Don't even think about 3. When you get 2 done, go to 3. But knock them off one at a time. If you don't get them all done, just move them over on to the next day. Now, that doesn't mean if you only get 3 done that you have 9 the next day. There are 3 of the 6 that you're going to do the next day. 6 goal-achieving activities. And when you wake up in the morning, move into action on them. Quit holding yourself back. Don't wait. You say, well, I really don't know how I'm going to get started, and the way will show itself. It just appears. I have found when you get started, when you move into action, everything starts to happen around you.
If you want a guaranteed way to move into action, apply the 595 rule. Spend 5% of your time planning and 95% of your time doing. 5% planning, 95% doing. Most people are afraid to apply the 595 rule because you're afraid that you'll take the wrong action, that you'll make a mistake, that it won't be perfect. But here's what's going to happen. While you are sitting there planning your perfect next move, someone with less talent, with less skills than you will win with a half-baked idea because they applied the 595 rule and just got started. So I've started a new Instagram Live morning show where in the mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, I go live Monday to Friday with a special guest. And that idea came while I was on the airplane coming home from Los Angeles. And I made the decision in the air. Why? Because I had the idea. I wanted to do it. I love the thought of helping entrepreneurs. It came out of an amazing event in Los Angeles. But as I was on the plane ride home, I felt the motivation slipping. I felt the motivation going away. And so while in the air, I made the commitment to do it. And I emailed people on my team because I didn't magically have 2 hours free 5 days a week in my calendar. I emailed the people on my team because it's going to impact their lives too and said, here's the new plan. I then committed myself to the first 5 people that I would have on the show. This was a Friday night and I wanted to have my first show Monday morning. And so I went myself and I booked the first 5 guests for the show. And so I committed to other people. It forced me that I had to go off and do it. And I decided I'd do this show every day till I went on my tour, which would be in January. And then don't think about it. Just go off and do it. Stop planning. That's the plan. The plan is done. Stop planning. Now do. Book guests. Book time with my team. Do this until January and I leave. I'm going to come back in April. I'll figure out the plan when I come back in April. Where most people, what they'll do is they'll come up with an idea. They'll think about it, they'll tweak it, they'll think about it, they'll tweak it, and then they'll do one little tiny thing. Doesn't work perfectly, come back, think about it, tweak it. You need to reverse it. 5% of your time planning. The 5% for me was on the airplane. On the airplane ride back home to Toronto, I'm spending my time planning. I'm thinking about the format of my show. I'm thinking about the timing of my show. I'm booking the guests for my show. I'm telling my team that this show is happening. And then I'm not going to think about it again until I come back from my tour in April. And I'm just going to execute and do until I leave. And that was about 3 months worth of work. 595 in action. The faster you can go from that idea you have in your head with some planning, because the planning is still important. It's not 100% do. Then you're just running in circles and you don't get any momentum. The 5% is super important, but no more than 5. 5% planning, 95% doing. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process on how to apply this to your life and start building some momentum into your business. Step number 1 is bold moves. When you are in a moment of boldness, when you are feeling alive and confident, unstoppable, you've felt that before. It may not be consistently, it may not be every day, but you have felt that before. When you are making a bold move and you decide to say, I want to do this. This is where I see my life going. This is where I see my business going. When you are feeling bold and confident and you make that decision, that is actually the best decision for you. That's what you actually should be doing with your life and with your business. And then as you lose boldness and lose confidence, your brain will talk you out of why you should be doing it. Your brain will come up with all the reasons why it's not going to work out. Don't let the brain win. This is where the over planning comes into place and it kills momentum. It suffocates momentum out of your creation. And so for me, coming back from my trip in LA, I had the moment of boldness on the airplane. The moment of boldness, this is amazing. This is what I need to do. And then the more I thought about it, the less certain I became. The more I started to plan, the less momentum came out, the less confidence came out, and I felt my foot leaving. I felt my certainty leaving, where I was 100% for sure, and then it became 98, and 96, and 92, and 87. And the closer I got to Toronto, the further I got away from LA, the more and more I felt that motivation slipping, because my boldness and confidence was slipping in that idea. So that's when you have to commit. Understand that when you make a decision from a moment of boldness, that is the best thing for you, and you need to commit to doing it instead of over planning. Step number 2 is schedule for success. So once you come up with a bold move, how does that apply to your calendar? It's not enough to just think about something. It's not enough to just say, I'm going to do this. Your actions have to map to your ambitions. It has to have a spot in your calendar. When you look at your weekly calendar, there has to be action in there. When I look at my weekly calendar, 9 a.m. now, there's my morning show. And so if you map out what you want your business and your life to look like, it comes down to a series of habits. It's not just about hitting some arbitrary number at the end of the day. It's about what you're doing on a weekly basis. If you want a great relationship, what are you doing on a weekly basis to maintain and build and grow an amazing relationship? Because if you have no time blocked off for the person in your life, that person won't want to be a part of your life anymore. And same thing for all these important projects. This is why so many hopes and dreams die within you at the end of your life, because you never put them into your calendar, because you never took action on them. And so whenever you decide on your bold move, the next step is to look at your calendar and say, where is this going to fit? And what do you have to rip out? I didn't magically free up 2 hours a day for my thing. I had to rip other things out. I had to adjust my priorities around. Where is your bold decision going to fit in your weekly calendar to make sure that you're taking action? And step number 3 is commit to someone immediately. Commit to someone immediately. You will let yourself down more than you will let other people down. If you say you're going to be somewhere and you're committing to somebody else, you will show up because you don't want to disappoint them. But if it's you saying, I'll get to the gym, maybe you do it, maybe you don't. And so you need to commit to somebody else immediately. Just like I did on the airplane, I wrote to the people on my team. I wrote to the first 5 guests and booked them in. I didn't even have Wi-Fi on the plane. The email was sent when I landed, but I had written the email while in the air. I wrote the emails before I landed. I committed to those people. And the funny thing was, when I showed up on Monday morning, I didn't want to do the show. Friday night, I'm on fire. I want to do this show. This is my next bold move. I have to do this show. I'm on the airplane. Motivation is slipping. I catch the motivation slipping, so I have to send the emails out. Monday morning, I show up and I don't want to do the show. Not that I don't want to do the show, it's just I didn't feel it was a smart move. If you'd come and told me, Evan, you should do a morning show, I was like, that's a great idea, but I don't have the time for it. I don't want to make the time for it. I got other priorities. This is not important to me right now. And yet it's the thing that makes me feel the most alive. And when I finished that first episode with my first guest, I knew I had to keep going and doing this. But I would have sabotaged it. I would have said it's not important. I would have talked myself down for that big, bold, crazy idea I had when I was feeling unstoppable. So you need to commit to somebody else. You need to make your big, bold bet. You need to then schedule for success and put it into your calendar. And then you need to immediately commit to somebody else to make sure that you are following through and you don't let yourself down. Now, I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I wanna know, what action do you need to immediately apply the 595 rule to? Let me know, put it in the comments below.
There's a single mantra that has helped me my entire life bypass fear and make really any dream I've had come true, no matter how scary it seemed, no matter how intimidating it was, or how unprepared or inexperienced I felt. And that mantra is this. You ready for it? Start before you're ready. I'm going to say that again. Start before you're ready. If you wait until you feel ready to do anything meaningful, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. Look, I have been doing this for a long time now. I've supported tens of thousands of entrepreneurs to start and grow their businesses across 160 industries and across 119 countries. And I've noticed some similarities. Among the people who are the most successful, the happiest, the people who are actually contributing the most, they all have one thing in common, and it's this. They all start before they're ready. You see, I think you've misidentified the enemy here, because the enemy, it's not making mistakes. It's not changing your mind, and the enemy is not your fear. The only enemy that you need to defeat, my friend, is not getting started. This is what most of us just fail to realize. Action is the antidote to fear. Action creates progress and momentum. And action, consistent action, is all you ever need to make anything happen in your life.
If you want more Bob Proctor, check out the Change Your Paradigm video I did on him. The link is right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
When you're going ahead, the only thing you can measure is what you're giving up. What about what's coming? You know what's coming? What you want.